Bills fans, what is up? Boy, was that an ugly, hard fought, just war of attrition type of game. I mean, especially in the second half where you got guys dropping like flies. Hopefully, none of them are long term. I know they wanted to put Mitch Morse back in the game, but it just didn't happen. He was running on the sideline. He wanted to come back in. Crazy, crazy victory. Um, 9 people, 10 people already in. What's up? It was just, it was crazy. Ugly first half, ugly second half. I was so demoralized when it looked like the Titans went ahead in the fourth quarter. He was clearly over the line. They went back and they reviewed it, and it was just like, come on, man, how are you gonna screw this team, this organization, this fan base, this franchise again on the same call? The guy is so far over the line, it's not even funny. And then the guy they have in the booth, the official guy, says, "Well, oh, if any part," it's just this bullshit. The guy was over the line of scrimmage. He threw a touchdown. The call stayed on the field that he was past the line of scrimmage, and then Cairo Santos again gets his field goal blocked by Daryl Johnson, who had a hell of a game. A hell of a game. A lot of guys really showed up and sold out today. Um, Agreed, Hussein, 100%. Dayball did a lot of great things. Yeah, I was. Everybody likes the aggression, the call. Obviously, when it doesn't work, maybe you give it to Gore, you line up in the eye, and you just ram it right down their throat right there. Maybe you roll Allen out, instead of you get him on the move towards the edge, you give him a run pass option with something like that. But man, it was tough. I felt like Archuleta was pretty nice up on the Bills today. He was a big fan of their defense and what they were doing. Shady Who, wow, it was a hell of a, again, what we have to go through as Bills fans, where we have to suffer, and then hopefully it comes out in the end. Unlike last week, it did for them. And it was just a lot of three and outs, a lot of stalled drives. Josh Allen had his obligatory brain fart interception where he actually had Duke Williams left of Beasley, and he just chose to try to throw it into Beasley, and it was picked off because Bard just came flying over the top of him and intercepted it. But otherwise, my thing with Allen has never been the accuracy. There's this thing about accuracy. It's decision making. Allen's decision making, when it's on point, he had one play where he just kind of shuffled past the rush and threw a beautiful pass to Duke Williams and got a first down. I'm like, my God, dude, look at you in the pocket. You can do this. When he's rushed and when he's not rushed and he's calm and he keeps his eyes downfield, the guy is on point. It's just decision making, down in and down out. He has to be on top of it. And I'm going to give a lot of credit to Dayball today. He really, it was ugly out there. That the field was they didn't put the guys with the hamstring issues, and thankfully they didn't, because you saw Milano go down with a little bit of a tweaked hammy late in the game. And you've seen this team be conservative with injuries like that. They're not going to continue. Even if they felt like Milano was good enough to go back in, they weren't going to put him out there on that field in that situation with the lead. Actually, they were tied at the time. They didn't have the lead. And yeah, man, another thing, big ups to Bills fans. They went down there, sold out, and were all in. It was crazy. They just took over that city, took over that. It was like a Bills home game. Like when you were watching on TV, I thought it would have been it could have been New Era Field, the Ralph Rich Stadium, whatever you want to call it. That's what it sounded like to me. It was just as much noise, if not more. Titan fans that are there Titan fans? I don't know. And yep, I'm gonna say this. Maybe this is a reach. Cody Ford had one bad thing. He's a rookie. Everybody's whipping on him. I get it. He went out. And Bates is a keeper, definitely, but let's go a little easy on Ford. It's a hard offensive line. Outside of quarterback and cornerback are the hardest positions to play in the league for rookies. Also, Duke Williams. Duke Williams. You know, Bills fans, they get their preseason darling. They have their darling. Nick O'Leary was a darling in Bills fans. Brandon Riley was a darling in Bills fans. There's certain guys. Duke Williams, in my opinion, after today, became the Bills' new Fred Jackson to Bills fans. He is now officially the new Fred Jackson to Bills fans because he got the call up. It wasn't like the organization doesn't listen, because I'm sure they do hear the Bills fans hue and cry for a player. But we see the highlights, the clips, Duke making plays. He had a great preseason. He makes plays in practice on a very, very good defense. A very good defense. So it wasn't like they were just giving the guy a call up to see what he has. They already knew he's got a good pedigree. So, yeah. Some guy in Hungary does those PFF ratings, dude. You know why I know that? Because they tried to get him on a Detroit radio station, okay? Before you go citing PFF ratings, they tried to get the guy who supposedly does offensive line grading for Pro Football Focus. Apparently, the guy is in Hungary somewhere, and the time that they couldn't work out the time zone. So before you go with those ratings, they don't know what they're being asked of on that given play. And again, it's a rookie in his 5th game. Let's relax. And that's why Chris Collinsworth, who owns shares in Pro Football Focus, what they're doing is they're catering to a market for people who have a thirst for these numbers. They will burp out an algorithm, and people will buy a subscription to their site and feel like they have an inside knowledge of whatever inner workings the team is doing and not doing. You can take a stat and make it look like any way you want. With that being said, Ford needs to get better, but also, again, he's a rookie tackle. Let's relax, okay? Back to Duke Williams. Agree or not agree? He's the new Fred Jackson. Caught every ball thrown to him, scored what became the game-winning touchdown, plays with a lot of, you heard McDermott, just brings a lot of juice. He brings an attitude, and he catches the ball very effortlessly. The ball hits his hands, he's catching it. There's no fight, there's no force, there's nothing. And Zay Jones had one offensive snap today. One offensive snap. Zay Jones had one offensive snap today. That tells you all you need to know about where he sits with the coaching staff, where he sits with his teammates. You saw the clip of Josh Allen screaming for Duke Williams up the tunnel after the game. He was screaming, "I fucking love you." He was like, Duke, I fucking love you. I'm like, bro, if that isn't a big indictment of Zay Jones and his spot on the roster, I don't know what is, man. Because I don't think he's long for this team, especially going into a bye. Because Duke Williams played a lot today. A lot. And when he wasn't in there, Isaiah McKenzie was in there. And Brown would slip out to where Williams was playing mostly. But wow. Great debut for him. Not a big stat sheet, but the impact. The first downs, caught everything thrown to him. He's a physical guy. And he wants it. He feels like nothing's been handed to him, and he just feels like he needs to get the opportunity. And apparently he's earned it. He's worked for it, and he's going to play. He's going to play more. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. I won't put anything past Brandon Beane if he feels like he can go acquire a player that can help this roster and this team. But I got to find out what it is, what they want. I just know that Zay Jones is likely the odd man out in the receiving corps for the Buffalo Bills. They have 7 on the active roster, and it doesn't look like he's going to, and once Robert Foster's fully healthy after the bye, I think that you'll see him integrated more. And Devin Singletary, especially. If Singletary would have worked out well. Taron Johnson worked out, but they held him back again because they know his physical style of play. He gets beat up. They want to keep him ready for after the bye. If Singletary would have been ready to go, the field would have been dry today. Singletary would have been active. Zay Jones would have been inactive. Guarantee it. The snap counts reflect it. Andre Roberts had more snaps at wide receiver than Zay Jones did today. I think Andre Roberts was in there for 4 or 5 reps on the field. I think McKenzie was in there for about 10. Yeah, that Trevor, that's big. What Trevor just said. How about those running first downs on the last drive? That is something this team could not do last year at all. When they needed to buckle down and run the ball against a good defense with a good interior, because that team has a good interior with KC, and they have another guy, Daquan Jones. They have a solid front, and that team put its ears back and said, we're going to go get him. And I know we killed this guy. You got it, Trevor. We killed him a few weeks ago after the fumble against the Bengals, but this is what I mean. Don't jump down players' throats. Yeldon had a big run on that series, and he had a big catch early in the game, but he got that first down, and that was a huge, huge run, man. A huge run. And it was – and in Gore, like Hussein, Gore is just – he's a freak of nature. And when you need the tough yards, and you trust him not to fumble. You trust him to keep his legs going and keep the pile moving. And he did that. That 19-yarder was a backbreaker. And then Allen with the – see, I wish they would do those naked boots more for Allen because there's so much yards. Just give him that run, throwaway option. It's to me, unless he has a free runner barreling down on him, in that case, you pump him out of his shoes or you throw the ball away. It's a win-win play. You cannot lose with that play. Yeah, when Singletary is back, it's going to really provide this offense with a lot more options on the perimeter to get out in space and just really, really scare the shit out of teams. Especially in the red zone, especially in the middle of the field when he can get out in the open. That's going to be huge. It did, man. Shady Hooyer took the words right out of my mouth. The bye week couldn't have come at a better time. You had a lot of guys go down with supposed, maybe concussions. They're in the protocol. They're being checked. I don't know if they're in the protocol, but I did learn this week. If you follow me on Twitter, I learned this week. You do not have to officially have a concussion to be in the NFL concussion protocol. Okay? You have left the game after enduring a blow to the head. And if you are held out and unable to return to play, you are automatically entered into the concussion protocol. You don't have to have one officially, okay? Josh Allen didn't have a concussion last week. He was in the protocol because he couldn't return to the field because his examinations weren't done. They knew he was playing late Wednesday. His neuros, his scans came back all the same, because if you fail any step of the protocol, you have to go back to step 1. You can be at step 4. If you fail it, you go back to step 1 and you have to repeat it. So at that point, none of the guys that were in the protocol this week, like Marlowe and Patrick DeMarco, they did not have concussions. They just left the field due to head injuries, didn't come back in. So that's something I learned, and I hope you guys just learned it too. Yeah, man, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, though. I just want to enjoy this win and feel good about this team gets to go into the bye 4-1. It's the first time since 2008 that's happened. They went into a bye that week. Trent Edwards had a concussion. Funny, right? That hit by Adrian Wilson, a lot of people felt like ended his career. The defense the Bills have played is insane. They have a few lapses here and there, but I was saying that during the game when Allen threw the pick, Titans go down and score. I was so dejected. I was like, you cannot keep riding this defense. You can't. They're going to break. And then on that one drive, they almost did. But you have Daryl Johnson was killing Jack Conklin today. I don't know if you saw this. They were rotating a lot. And I think Daryl Johnson's also cutting into Shaq Lawson's playtime, because I saw Daryl Johnson a lot more than I saw Shaq Lawson. And once Murphy went out of the game with the head injury, it was Johnson in there. He gets the sack in the second to last drive, the possession the Titans had. He blocked the field goal, one of the second to last field goal Santos had, the one that went under the crossbar. He blocks it. And then let's just all thank Mike Vrabel for being an idiot. What in the hell was he thinking, having that guy attempt a kick from that distance when your defense is playing pretty damn good? They only given up 7 points at that point. They give the Bills the ball. The Bills go 3 and out. The Bills get the ball back, and then they salt away the game. But still, my God, that guy should not have a job as an NFL head coach. Oh man, Dick Duran would have loved that. That's a Doug Marrone move. That's a Dick Duran move. That is just, pinning a pit. He didn't even pin him back. He's like, we're gonna take the field goal. Yeah, man. And you got to remember, Nsekhe wasn't out today. He wasn't out there because of the field conditions. He hadn't practiced. They said a lot of their decision-making today tied into the bye next week. A lot of their decision-making at the end of the game, whether to put guys back out there with injuries, was due to the bye. Morse could have came back in a pinch. They held him out. He tweaked an ankle. The guy, if you would have seen, he was running back and forth on the sideline. He was jogging and stuff. Maybe he tweaked his ankle. He sprained it, but they're like, we got to keep this guy in for a long haul. Trevor, I'm going to get to the MVP of the game. He was a wrecking crew in the middle of the defense. In the beginning of the game, they actually doubled Ed Oliver. They helped Roger Saffold out. The center pinned Oliver, and then fucking Jordan Phillips just does this loop like a defensive end. He just goes and right to Mariota. He did it twice, and they both came on times where they were doubling Oliver. And then the next time, he just took Nate Davis and sat him back in Marcus Mariota's face and then sacked him. You had Lorenzo Alexander stunt in perfectly, get a sack. They got 5 sacks today. The only component missing right now are the turnovers. This defense is due for a turnover game. Oh, the table. That was a great, I mean, just a great little show from him. He's been everything that you want a guy to be. The Bills pick him up on waivers last year, and he's just been a steady player for them. And in a lot of cases, like today, a damn good one. And if Bean and his front office personnel can continue to find little guys like this, like a Williams, maybe they find, a guy like Isaiah McKenzie. You got to remember, Isaiah McKenzie's a guy that they picked off waivers from Denver after midseason. He's passed over guys like Zay Jones now. He's behind Isaiah McKenzie. And when Robert Foster's fully healthy, I still think he has a place in this roster too, because he's been battling a groin since the preseason. And it was a real team. I mean, you saw another reason. I'll tell you about the protocol. I'll use this as an example real quick, and I'll get back to the game. Jordan Poyer, you saw how upset he was coming off the field. He didn't think he would go back in the game because it's very hard. It is extremely hard for them to let you go back in the game after getting a headshot. And if they feel like the spotter needs to pull you off. He was like, there's no way, that he didn't think he was going to get to go back in. But thankfully, he got to go back in. If you guys rewatch the game, you'll see what I'm talking about on the broadcast. And oh my God, Dak just almost threw another pick. He had a lot of catches at Eastern Coastal Carolina, man. He had a lot of catches. His father was an NFL player. He had an okay year last year, provided everything. I think he's a change of scenery guy. He's a guy that just needs a change of scenery. And sometimes it happens to guys. It's not necessarily that they're the worst, or that I don't think Zay Jones is the best by any means. I think he can play in the NFL. He's just never going to live up to fruition and all the things surrounding him with the offseason and it stems back to the drop against Carolina in his second game as a pro. And ever since then, it's been like, you know what? Bills fans have already had enough of him. I feel bad for him, but what are you going to do? John Brown is clearly Josh Allen's number one target. I was a little upset. He didn't have any targets in the second half. No targets. They've really got to tie this in together. They really have to tie this together because this team, again, and I can come back again, I've done it all 5 weeks. This team on offense has not played a 4-quarter football game. It's coming. It's going to come. I think they have this bye and the 3 opponents they have coming up. Even Philly. Philly's defense is not good. Their secondary is not good. They play man single high across the board. Is Jim Schwartz's defense. They'll blitz the safeties, they'll blitz DBs, but they play man across the board. I think Allen will have a chance to get at them. I think he'll have a chance to get it at the Redskins, and I think he'll have a chance to get it at the Miami Dolphins. So, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It always is the latest thing. It's the last thing to come, but I feel like the pieces are here. Dawson Knox had a drop early in the game. He needs to catch those passes. Tommy Sweeney had a drop on the second or first drive of the Bills when Josh Allen rolled out. He had the ball in his hands. It was a game changer, and it did change the game. It did. But you know what? The Bills have a good defense, and they held. Look at it this way. That same Titan team went into Cleveland on opening day and won 40-something to 10. That same Titan team went into Atlanta last week. It pretty easily beat the Atlanta Falcons. Mariota threw touch. Can you imagine Marcus Mariota throwing 3 touchdown passes? I can't see it. The refs, Bonzolo. Some of those calls that the Bills got. I mean, even Allen sold the roughing the passer penalty the way he dropped his head down. He totally sold it. He totally sold that play, and he got the flag. But the one supposed offsides on Murphy down down near the goal line, another one that was a supposed hold, I believe on Ford after the one Ford got injured on. Ford got the holding penalty after Gore ran for like 10 yards. I'm like, where was the hold? There was some real chintzy calls. I think I'm not going to say they can beat every team, Trevor. I feel like they definitely have a chance against every team. I'll say that. I feel like every game, I feel confident that the Bills are going to have a good chance against any team in the National Football League. How about that? And that was a bullshit call. Yeah, that's another one. I don't know how to say your handle, bro. Matt, that he got blocked into him. Dion Lewis low cuts him and he flies. These refs have to have common sense. What's he supposed to do? He was blocked into him. Like his body was just spun. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't get it. And these refs, they have to realize there's nothing he could have done. He wasn't doing it. He was flung into him essentially. So the competency of the officiating in the National Football League is at an all-time low. That's all I'll have to say. It is as bad as I've ever seen it. And you know what I think it stems from? It stems from a lot of things. They're getting these points of emphasis, yinged and yanged at them every week. They are human beings. They are older men who have to run around and administer rules on world-class athletes who are moving like unbelievably quick and unbelievable collisions. They are changing rules every year on and just these guys can't even settle in, let alone the players. These referees can't even get like, okay, we have a set rule, we have a set standard, it's black and white. And all these rules are so arbitrary. That's where you get the just the discrepancy. It's just terrible. It's terrible. Next, yeah, Hussein said it. The next 3 games at home, and they're big. And the Bills have to come out with this. They have to come out of this with 6 wins. This stretch, it has to be a 6-win stretch for me. And I will accept nothing less. And yeah, and apparently he doesn't like Taylor Lewan because he tweeted some things that he was happy. Taylor Lewan was talking shit to Star Lotulelei too. He was flexing his arm and doing this and that after something had happened. I think it was on the field goal attempt. He got backed up, or there was the extra point attempt. I'm sorry. He makes the extra point attempt that he got backed up on, which I found was funny. I thought for sure he was going to miss that too, but the O-line, I at the moment I would give it a 7, a solid 7. With the injuries, Morse went down in the midway through or late in the second quarter. Didn't come back in. Was on the sideline. The reason he was on the cart was because we're in the stadium. There's a long way to go down the tunnel. It's a long inverted walk. They didn't want him to have to walk all that way to go get x-rays. So they put him on the cart, took him back there, x-rayed him. He came back out, was on the sideline jogging. The trainers weren't around him. They just didn't let him go back in the game. And I think a lot of what we saw late in the game with Milano, with, particularly the conditions of the field and the head injuries, they were just they're like, you know what, we're going into a bye. We feel like our defense can hold this lead. We feel like our backups are good enough. We're just going to play it safe here and get these guys back. What do I think about the Bills the next game? You can tell you're from Mexico because we call them games. In soccer and in European football they call them matches. But it's all good, man. We love Bills fans. I was embraced by Bills fans from Buffalo and Bills fans all around the world. We're a bunch of brothers. We're a band of brothers, and so anybody's always welcome here. Yeah, man. I think that that's a game that they should win easily. There's no reason that team should not win that game easily. Their two of their next opponents should be easy victories. I don't mean to sound cocky. I don't mean to sound. I'm not trying to say the Bills have arrived yet or they're the best team, but obviously the Redskins and the Dolphins should be cupcake wins. That should be practice game wins for the Bills. That should be scrimmage style wins for the Buffalo Bills at home, bar none. Now, the Eagles, a bit different caliber of team. Obviously, offensively, they're as good as any team. They have an extremely good quarterback. They have capable weapons, and they're going to be on the road. I mean, today they played a team that's just bad, and they beat them easily. I mean, they didn't really have to stress much. They didn't have to do much. They just let the Jets beat themselves, and then they finished the job. So, but Dank said it. Their defense is bad. I think that the Eagles can be got on their defensive side of the ball, where the Bills have a big edge is on the defensive side of the ball. And I also feel that the Bills are getting better in the special teams department. Bojorquez had a much better day today. He nailed some pretty decent punts. The one that I felt like he should have put inside the 20 late, he just bombed it. You can't have it all right. I'm not going to concede wins, man. If they come out of this 7-1, let's play these games, Joey Kemp. I mean, they have an opportunity here to really seal it. They have an opportunity if you cannot concede any games. I don't concede against New England. As good as New England's record against the Bills, I still feel like the Bills should have won last week. I really do. 100%. And if Allen plays that clean game, a clean game and starts hitting on the deep stuff. His accuracy issues are a myth now. Okay, we can all agree Josh Allen has myth. Those are myth issues. What Josh Allen's issue is lapses in decision making. He has these lapses in decision making that just are stupid. They're avoidable. They're not rookie mistakes or young player mistakes. They're just like, dude, don't fucking do that. Just out of bounds. And he made tons of good decisions today. I'm not gonna say yeah, he does. Well, he's also the thing that's going to get us over the top too. Always remember that. Josh Allen's the person that's going to put the team over the top. He can't stop you, but he can sure as hell start you. And we've seen that. You know, we've seen him do it. Today he needed to make plays and he made them and they won the game. And so I'm not gonna, you know, knock him when he's good, and I'll criticize him when he's bad. And he made a lot of good decisions today. He threw the ball away, dirted the ball on another play, slid a little bit, and then the one play that Rashad Evans hit him, he didn't see him because his own offensive lineman was like hiding him, and it was just like he all of a sudden was there because he was behind. I totally could tell on the replay that he couldn't see him. So it was that outside of that one throw, he had a pretty damn good game. The only thing that's missing is the thing we all know he can do, which is the deep stuff, and that's going to come. They're not hitting anybody on double moves. They're not running any double moves, any stop and goes, nothing. And when that stuff comes, you're going to start to see this offense get chunk plays. Isaiah McKenzie gave him a nice chunk play today, a really nice one. I think Dawson Knox is capable. He wasn't involved that much in the game plan because of, you know, whatever reason. But Josh Allen hit 9 different receivers. He had 11 different targets. He had an impressive game. I'm not going to take that away. You know, exactly. Who's saying he did it? He did it, but he's got the capability, and he knows he's got the capability to do more. And I think if he can cerebrally check himself, if Josh Allen can mentally say, I need to not do this, knowing I can do all the other things. Well, I think that's when you're going to start to see the big shit, the big stuff. Why our play caller doesn't keep our wide receivers in the run game, fake it to him, or just give it to him. It kills. Well, they've hit a couple of plays. I mean, they hit the one play, and that's considered a pass. Believe it or not, that little pitch to McKenzie is considered a pass, Carey Mayfield. That's actually a pass because you're throwing it forward. It's the same as the touchdown in that they had against the Giants to McKenzie. Same thing, just a little pitch. Yeah, that'll definitely start to open things up because the truth is Foster's been battling a groin issue. And he practiced full Wednesday, Thursday, was limited on Friday, and I think they knew what they were up against today in terms of the weather, the field conditions. They went out, and all Singletary's availability was field conditions. It had nothing to do with his health. They just want him to be extra good to go. So this week, we definitely know. We don't know about any of the guys today. I don't want to speculate or anything. I think they'll all be good to go. But obviously, the ones we'll definitely be getting Foster, Singletary, and Taron Johnson back in week 7, and I can't wait for that. Eye of the movement. Would you have tried to score? Yes. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that. That's why I love opening the room. That's why I like doing lives more than recorded, because you guys snap me back into check and either correct me or tell me things that make me think of good points to talk about. So thank you. Second half of the game, 44 seconds, 3 timeouts. I understood it, but I was gritting my teeth. You're getting the ball to start the half. Second half, yes. 44 seconds and 3 timeouts. Just you can get a chunk play. If you can get a chunk play, you have a you gotta have a script for that. The Bills, Daboll, he has to find a script for that where it's like, and it's a McDermott decision, it's not a Daboll decision, and I get it. But when you start to trust your quarterback more, and that's what this comes down to, is trust. Is trust. You got to give him an opportunity to get a chunk play. And thanks for subscribing, bro. I just saw that. I don't ask for it. I don't beg for it. But thank you. If you people just want to watch, come in and leave, that's cool. No likes required. No subscriptions required. Just your presence is good enough for me. And I really appreciate all you guys in the room. I always say that. Thank you so, so much. Especially after a win, as ugly as it was. Can we just get an easy win? Oh, it's killing me, man. Yeah, that was a situation where it's like, hey, you get a 25-yard play, you take a quick timeout, you're cooking. Now your whole playbook's available. You could go get a field goal. Who knows? You could score a touchdown. You put that team down 14-0 at half with the ball coming out. That would have been the game. That would have been the game right then and there. So judging by how the game was, it was irritating. It kind of irritated me that he chose that. I know why he did it. I understand why he did it, but it doesn't mean you should not be irritated by that. Against the Giants, it was the same thing. You got to have a more. To me, when this team gets to the point where I guess it has his trust, especially from the quarterback standpoint, they'll be willing to open it up a little bit more. Yeah, we had it at the 30. I believe they took a penalty right before. I believe McKenzie took a penalty, a procedure penalty, 5 yards. If they had a plan, maybe that threw it all out of whack and they just put the kill switch on it. No, he wouldn't have dressed Hussein. I tweeted that last night. It was all about Singletary. I put that out on Twitter. I was like, if Singletary, the field conditions would have been optimal, Singletary was ready, Zay would have been inactive. So for me, with 7 wide receivers, you got to remember, we could see Tyler Kroft back next week. I happen to think he'll be back for the Eagles game, but I think if Tyler Kroft comes back, now that's a whole new ball of wax. So that even knocks Zay Jones further down because that's a pass catcher, a different position, and a guy that you know is going to be active, particularly for red zone areas, go up and get it situations. The guy is 6'6", scored a lot of touchdowns in the red zone for the Bengals. So, and that's where this team needs it. It needs to be able to put balls in the end zone. They can move the ball between the 20. They can play between the 30s. The Bills can play with the best of them between the 30s. That's a good Tennessee defense. That defense is not bad. It's a pretty good defense, and the Bills did, for what the game was, did a good job. They did a good job, and I'm going to take my hat off to them. There was points in the game that I felt like they should have been more aggressive. They shot themselves in the foot with either a weird penalty or the one Josh Allen pick. Yeah, man. Yeah, Dank, you said it. I pointed out earlier. They made Baker look bad, picked him off 3 times. I don't know what the resolution for the Sweeney or no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Then it depends on the game. I think it depends on the game. Now you can become a lot more versatile. You become a lot more flexible. Maybe some games you want to have 3 tight ends. Maybe some games you want to have 4 tight ends. Maybe because Sweeney plays special teams. So always remember, Sweeney is probably a better blocker than Kroft, and he plays special teams. So that's going to keep him. That's going to keep him active. What's up, Snarl? How you doing? Yep, can't look past anyone, bro. Can't look past anyone. I feel like they should go in and win against the Dolphins and the Redskins and get a damn good game from the Eagles, but you can't. It's a crazy league, and you can't predict anything. So I'm hoping that that this is just the start of something big. And Dallas is getting killed at home. Killed. And you know what we do as Bills fans? We fucking love it. Second most hated team amongst Bills fan base should always be the Cowboys. First, the Patriots. Real Bills fans, trust me, you understand, you know. First team Pats, second team shit boys. Always remember that. So today, Sunday, is definitely shaping up to be a fucking great Sunday. I must say, guys. I open arms, all of you. Big fucking Bills hugs, pound, fist, whatever. It's great. But back to the game, just a little bit more. Man, if this team would have lost that game on that forward pass of Marcus Mariota, I think the city of Nashville would be on fire right now. There was so many Bills fans there. What a bullshit. Like, what are you reviewing? What are you reviewing? You clearly saw the guy over the line, his whole fucking body, his arm, everything. And what the naked eye on television could see this, let alone on the field, let alone in 4K HD replay booth with every angle available. Why are you wasting 5 minutes out of everybody's life to replay something that is so obvious? I don't understand it. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. This league with their stupidity and reviewing, it was obvious. They stuck with the call on the field, which was the right thing. Bills ended up benefiting, and I'm glad they won. Just turnabout's fair play, because that stupid fan base, fake fan base, bought those votes during the offseason for that little poll that they were running on, what was it, NFL or ESPN.com. So what's up, Los? How you doing, man? You're feeling good. I'm feeling good. And it was just a bad, what are you doing? What are you doing? The one on Taylor Lewan where he took his helmet off. That should have been on. The second you take your helmet off, unless it's knocked off, it's 15 yards. After he took a penalty on the PAT, he took his helmet off on his own, and the refs didn't throw the flag. That's 15 yards further back. That PAT should have been a 50-yard PAT, which Santos would have missed, obviously, because he couldn't hit the ass end of a barn today. But don't apologize for that, Bills fans. Don't apologize for that, because you're going to get a lot of the naysayers and a lot of the piss in your cereal fans, because there are those. There are Bills fans. You always remember this. There are Bills fans that it's more comfortable for the team to win because that's what they're used to. Isn't that psychotic? Crazy? It's their comfort zone. They have, what is that, Helsinki syndrome? They have pass paralysis. Like, it's easier for us to take the L. Yeah, Corey. Perfect. It's easier for me to lose because I expect to lose. And that's a bitch-made mentality. And I won't have that. Another reason I blocked him. He has a bitch-made mentality. It's a coward's mentality. I'm going to go find other things teams do good. I'm going to cherry pick what they do good, and then I'm going to project it on the Bills. Yep. See, that's all they're going to say. You don't make your schedule. You don't, and everybody, and I didn't want to do it because the kid's been around a while. I didn't want to do it, but for that express reason alone, and everybody had the same opinion of him. Everybody didn't like him in here. Everybody was like, they kind of, with his stupidity. You know it. I don't have to go on it anymore. But today would have been another example where he would have found an ex-Bill on some roster somewhere, and he would have said, oh, look at that great day he had. Oh, what about this? What about that? No, I think he's a kid, a person who's just so brain locked by the Bills' past failure. And there's a lot of fans like that. Just not him. There's a lot of fans that it's easier for them to see the Bills lose because they're so conditioned. And if they've ever opened themselves up to the idea of the Bills winning, and obviously they were let down, they were like, I'm not doing this to myself again, because the hurt is the hurt. It's easier to accept when you expect it than it is when you don't. It's like the punch you see coming is the one that always knocks you out. The punch you don't see coming is the one, and that's what my analogy was. Enough about that. Tough win today, guys. Tough win. We all had to live through it again. Man, when the Titans were driving, yeah, and they started off great. Yeah, that's why, honestly, I don't know if you guys ever remember the Bills forums on Bills.com. Basically, social media killed the forums. because back in the day, the only way you could really communicate with other Bills fans was through the forums on Bills.com, or there was another fan site. I believe it wasn't Buffalo Rumblings. There was another one. There was another fan site, but that's why I started to do YouTube videos. I was like, fuck the forums. I could just come on to do a video and talk about the Bills. That's awesome. And I've been here since '07, and I'm happy about it. Yep, it was bad. It was just a wasteland of hopelessness. And today seemed like that when you had the Titans driving. I really had thought Phillips had jumped the snap on that one where they stopped Henry in the backfield, but he ended up being offsides and they scored on the very next play. It's a big running back, man. He's a big back. The Bills did, once that guy gets going, he gets his legs going. He's hard to stop, but they were able to stop him when they needed to. I think he had one breakout run on that same drive, but they were able to hold it pretty well. That was a hell of a play by Gallup for him to score. I'll give him credit on that. That was a hell of a catch for him. Yeah, they're still they're still complaining that they won. Past teams, yeah, I mean, I just don't see that from this team. The pedigree of players, they have much better players to a man than those teams. I think, if you look at player 1 through 53, I think if you look at the most thing I'll say is where the Bills are better is in the building. How about that? It's never that the Bills had they didn't have the quarterback, obviously. We're still trying to find out if we do. But where the Bills hemorrhage, where the Bills hurt the most was in the building. They didn't have a structure. They didn't have a leadership. They didn't have organization. They didn't have a cohesive, well-oiled machine at one Bills drive. They had a bunch of people running around with their own agenda, and they all wanted to be able to stand up and take credit for if there was ever any success and kind of go run and hide and point fingers when there was failure, which there usually was. And that's why you got, exactly, Snarl. That's why you get guys like Russ Brand. Isn't it any wonder, like the way the organization is seen around the league, the way players love being there, the way players talk about the organization? When you get guys like Russ Brandon gone, you get guys like, the former head of communications, Birch Told, gone. You get, the old team doctors, Bud Carpenter, gone. All these old archaic guys who just were hanging around because that's what the Bills was. It was a hangout. You came there, you hang out. We're just happy to be here. We're not worried about winning. Nope. McDermott said it during the press conference last Monday after the Patriots loss. I think he echoed it on Wednesday. He said they needed to get this team to the point. They needed to get this. They're still working on it. It's not a finished product. They need to get this team to a point where they expect to win, and they're getting there. They need to get out there, and that was the case with the Bills for so long. It was like, we're hoping. We just hope. We're hoping we win. They have to go out there and expect to win and play like it, and we've yet to see a complete game from this offense. We've seen it even a little more from the special teams than we have the offense. But it's got to come. It's got to come where this offense drops a 30-40 burger on somebody. Cheap in personnel, no. Cheap with coaches and quality staff, yes. Yes, he was. That's where he was cheap. And Allen had a bounce-back game today, and it was against a good defense and a defense that he saw similar looks that he got last week, even though the Titans play a lot more zone than man. Pats are dominant man team, like 85-15. He saw a little bit more zone today, and he was able to feast on it. And just the over-the-top stuff, again, we're still waiting on it, but I feel like it's going to come. They did not try to force anything down the field today. If you notice, nothing. Allen didn't uncork one today. Well, that was being McDermott in the first 6 months. There was a lot of people behind the scenes let go that you didn't even know about. I mean, everybody caught wind when they let the whole staff, the whole scouting department go, but there was people periodically let go through that whole first 6 months, that even while they were in season. Would it be the best Bills defense in Bills history? Best Best defense since '04. Better than the cold front defense in 14. Yes. Um, Better than the 99 defense. I don't know. That might be the best Bills defense I've ever seen. That 99 Bills defense was that defense was really, really good. So that's going to be a hard one. 88 was good. That was a lot of the that there was so many Hall of Famers. I mean, they had a young Pat Williams. They had Ted Washington. Pop was even gone. Their linebackers, Sam Rogers, Biscuit was gone. Coward's injury killed them. If Sam Coward would have been healthy, my God, that defense would have been great for years. But they had a young Antoine Winfield, and just they had a really, really good defense. I think Thomas Smith was still on the team. Henry Jones, Kurt Schultz, Henry. You had a few other guys in there, Ken Irvin, Marlon Kerner. They had some defenses. Yeah, man. Sam Coward, if you remember him, similar, think of this. If you don't remember Sam Coward, try to remember what happened to Takeo Spikes after his Achilles injury. Just wasn't the same player. Takeo was just, he was a guy without his wheels, and he was a really, really special player when he was 100%. I like Zay if we can get AJ Green for him. I don't think you go trading a second round pick for a guy that's going to be a free agent after he's 31, going to be a 32, I believe. I don't think you trade as high. I don't think you trade a second round pick for an AJ Green. No, I wouldn't do that at all, especially if you're flipping a player to. I don't know if they want to go for a receiver because you still have 7. That still gives you 7. So I think you can trade. Yeah, they're going to trade him for a guy that they feel like they need a position at. Maybe you trade him for a 4th round pick. Who knows? That's what you do. Today's win. And Greg Roman was the worst offensive coordinator I've ever seen. He had to go. The reason Greg Roman was fired is because he wanted to take Rex Ryan's job, and Rex Ryan knew the guy that was leaking everything to the media was Greg Roman. That's why he was let go after the second week of the season. Oh man. I mean, I think he's a player. He might have value in the league to some other team. The old saying, I don't like to say this about other players or people. One man's trash, another man's treasure. Zay Jones might have value in the league to somebody. You never know. They might see him as a young guy who just needs to change the scenery, and the Bills can and do something, get something in return for him. Yeah, he's solid. And he's doing it with a much better roster this year. I was on borrowed time. I think he was on borrowed time already. But when the video today came out of how Allen was screaming for Duke, and coaches notice that stuff, man. Coaches see that stuff. Other players see that stuff, and they're just like, they could just keep him and activate him, but maybe what if you need a number somewhere else? What if you need another defensive lineman? Dude, they could trade for a defensive player. Maybe somebody gives you better value. We'll give you I'll take anything, whatever position. Fair, guys. Yeah, Paul. Does anybody? He made a few plays. He was one of the guys who picked off a pass in Mark Sanchez's like 5 interception game. He was an okay player, nice guy, not great. Went to Jacksonville, retired. Yeah, it'll be tough, Trevor. It'll be a tough. They're coached well. They're aggressive on both sides of the ball, and I think that's where the Bills can make hay on that. I think they can make some hay on their defense. Yeah, it does, man. Hussein said it. There was a clip of Zay just kind of sitting off by himself while the offense was together. He was just kind of like alone in his zone. And that just, again, encapsulates where he was in the pecking order for this week, how little he involved, how little he was involved in the game plan. He did not get a lot of reps with the ones. Duke was in his spot most of the week. He was on special teams. He was doing a lot of different things, and I just think that we're gonna, you know, I hope, man, at one game at a time, Joe. Eagles will give us trouble. I'm sure there'll be points in some of the Dolphins game and Redskins games. They're going to try to, be up for it. I hope the Bills can hold and do good things, man. That's all I hope. Oh, Dennison was terrible. He was old guy, just with old ideas, and old ideas in the new NFL do nothing but get people fired and get fans pissed off. That's what they do. Edmonds was amazing. Joe, the one play he made where he kind of like sugared in the B gap and then dipped out back into coverage and tipped that pass that was going to Humphreys for, it was a 3rd and 4, I believe, and the Bills got the ball back, and that was it. Yeah, man, week off, carve a pumpkin with the baby girl, meet things. Dude, we get to relax this week. We get to enjoy some football next Sunday. We get to relax. Hopefully this team heals up, see what maybe if they make a tweak to here to the roster, which would be interesting. And just really, get to reflect and see what this team needs to do to get better. I mean, they have a lot to work on. They have a lot to improve offensively. We know that. Jason Garrett is Jerry Jones's puppet. The only reason Jason Garrett is the Dallas Cowboy head coach is because no one else will take the job and allow them to do what Jerry does. He's not paid a lot. There are some offensive coordinators in the NFL that make more than Jason Garrett. There's an offensive line coach. I believe Dante Scarnecchia makes just about as much as Jason Garrett does. The Patriots pay Scarnecchia $3 million a year. I don't think Garrett makes that much. And Jerry runs the team. Jerry wants to go talk to the media and tell him whatever the fuck he wants, he's going to do it. He wants to cut a player, he's going to do it. He wants to sign somebody, he's going to do it. Remember, that's just the way it is. Everybody knows it. And that's why, is Eddie Yarborough on the Bills still? He's on their practice squad. That was a hell of a catch by Zeke. I'll have to say that. I'll give it where it's due. I take my hat. That was a hell of a catch by Zeke. Hell of a throw. We are going to the Super Bowl. Hold your horses, Joe. What's up, Gavin? How you doing, man? Love seeing new people. Love seeing the regulars in here. I'm kind of rambling right now. I've talked a lot about the game, and we all saw it. We all watched it. It was just one of those ugly, old school dogfight games, and this game was so big. This game was so big because it's the Tennessee Titans. They're 2-2. You're 3-1. But if they get a head-to-head victory against you, it's like you have the same record, but they have a tiebreaker. And then that's one of those games that you might look back and look at as it bit you in the ass. You know what I mean? Biggest road win since. They're 3-1. They're 3-0 on the road. They're 3-0 on the road. Probably Atlanta in 17. Atlanta in 17. That was the biggest road win the Bills have ever have had since the 90s. That was a team off the Super Bowl. And that road win was just as big as any they had in the 90s. 74%. 74% Bills Mafia, Rob. So don't short them for percentage. I want, it'll be if they get, I don't want to count chickens before they hatch. I want to see, what they do. Did I see the flip off to McKenzie? No, I didn't see it, Gavin. I didn't see it. I saw there was something happening with Luan and some other people. I didn't see anything that happened. I do remember Bud Adams, the late Bud Adams, who owned the Houston Oilers, then the Tennessee Titans. He flicked off the Bills sideline in Tennessee. If you remember, that was the last game Dick Duran coached. Trent Edwards got pulled late. I know Fitz came in through a pick six, and the Bills lost. The game was a lot closer than the blowout it became, but I remember Fred Jackson threw a touchdown to Lee Smith in that game. And yeah, I think again, Los, I said earlier, a lot of the guys were kept out because they know the bye week is coming. Morse could have went back in. Murphy and Ford, I believe, were held out or weren't letting them go back in. Also, that was the only thing keeping Singletary from playing today was the field conditions. You're not going to put a guy back out on that field with a hamstring, and maybe it does become weeks. So I think they played it safe, knew the bye week was coming, felt good about their defense, keeping him in the game. Again, if he misses a game, he misses a game. Bills have to deal with it. Guys miss games. But again, hopefully it's just a little pull, a little tweak, and he's back. Knock on wood, you got the bye week coming up at a perfect time. They don't play a game to the 21st, I believe, 20th something. So, yeah, man, it's a great time to have the bye. Hopefully a lot of these guys can get their heads on straight and get healed up, and the offense can go to work on trying to button up some of these issues that they have, moving the ball, staying consistent, and putting up more points. Yeah, Gore, man, Gore's a chain mover, and he's such a big, huge add to this team because he just, even though he wasn't going early in the game, late in the game where the Titans knew the Bills had to run the ball, he got yards. Yeldon got yards, and that was the offensive line patchwork. Ryan Bates at right tackle, Spencer Long at right guard, and you had Feliciano at center. Feliciano did a hell of a job at center. A hell of a job. He did a really good job. Oh, dude, to me, honestly, they have not. Your ruse man, Neil has been excellent. He's been excellent. Oh, what a bad turnover by Dak. Oh, what a bad turnover. I'm trying to read the comments. The O is just different. It's early because we only really saw him. We only saw Singletary with the offense for a game and 3 quarters. We still. I think this offense is still evolving. When you have a quarterback who's only 16 games in, you have 9 new starters on offense, 4 on offensive line. All the wide receivers are new. The tight end's a rookie. 2 rookie tight ends. There's so much newness that's the last piece. I think we're going to see the best part, provided everybody stays healthy. We're going to see this offense take off in the second half of the year. Hamstring, we wanted to keep him off that field. And, yeah, man, I watched them both nights. Bonzolo. They were just flying up and down the ice. And I know they took Blackwood. They took advantage of a backup goalie, but Snyder was leaking goals the game before. They blew a big lead 4-1, and they ripped them. Yeah, dude, million. The Bills, that's the Bills, and even the players know it. The coaches know it. The organization knows it. Oh, and he follows it up with oh my God, intercepted in the end zone. I knew I should have bet the house on Vegas. Yeah, man. Let's just hold our water. Hopefully, no, he was only he wasn't a soccer coach. He was the Southampton's director of player, like their director of personnel. Yeah, man. Winning games while the young quarterback's developing is huge. And seeing Allen have a bounce back game, he had the brain fart play. He knows it. He said it in his press conference. Aside from that stupid mistake he made, he played his best. I mean, it was a really good game. And I really, really hope, yeah, man, Trevor, you said it. When this team reaches, and I don't think we might not see that we'll see it in spurts maybe. Let's be realistic. We'll see it in spurts. We'll see it for a game here, a game there, and then maybe they'll have another game like this or the Bengals game. But you got to remember, there was how many games last year where they didn't score an offensive touchdown? They were just so bad. There was that block of games where they didn't even reach double digit in points and we all saw last year. I felt confident about this game. Thanks, bro. We'll do that. This same Titan team, pretty much, give or take a few pieces. Bills didn't have Levi Wallace on the field. Levi Wallace is playing some fucking good ball. He had a big pass breakup on Corey Davis, and he broke up another pass. He's playing some really good football. And Marcus Mariota is not a good quarterback. I was more impressed with Marcus Mariota his rookie year when Tyrod Taylor won him that game with that big run late in that game. But then Zach Brown had pulled him down and hurt him. But they ended up winning. He stayed in the game, missed a few games with the leg. But anyway, I was more impressed with Mariota. Mariota just, I don't know. He just looks like a guy. He's just a jag. He's just a guy. You know what he looks like? He looks like the guy who backs him up. He reminds me of Ryan Tannehill. You know, he just reminds me of Ryan Tannehill. The encouraging thing about that, Hussein, is he plays really well in the fourth quarter. As bad as the third quarters have been, he plays really well in the fourth quarter. So that's the biggest encouraging thing. I'm talking about a 4-quarter game where they're moving the ball, even if it's a field flip. Like, that was one thing I'll give the Bills today. Even if they had the punt, they flipped the field. They were punting from their 35 on, not back. So they were able to keep the Titans pinned back. They had to drive long fields. Even when the only time the Titans scored dead ass was on the Josh Allen pick. So, I mean, this defense, we don't understand how good this defense is. The Bengals score on the short field from Josh Allen's pick. The Titans score on the short field from Josh Allen pick. The scoop and score interception of Mosley, the safety. This defense has how many points has this defense given up? The block punt from the Patriots. How many points has this defense given up? Like, seriously, like, how many dead ass points has this defense given up? Take care, bro. I appreciate it, man. You don't have to, if you guys got shit to do, you don't have to explain yourself to me, man. I'm on your time. You know, you go do your thing, bro. Enjoy it. Enjoy this win. Go Bills. Love you, man. What's up, Damager? How you doing, man? Yeah, we could. I wanted to play the Patriots the next day. I wanted them to. I was so pissed off. You can ask Damager. He follows me on Snapchat. I was so fucking mad, and I'm still pissed about that game because I feel like this team should be 5-0. Yeah, there's 16 points. All the Patriot points last week, except the block punt, were on turnovers. This week, turnover. Bengals game, they got back in the game with a turnover. They did drive the field one time. The Giants opened the game with a scoring touchdown. The Jets had a scoring drive, 2-point conversion. I'm counting 4 offensive drives that have resulted in points, touchdowns, all year. 4 out of how many drives? That is unbelievable. And it's not like the Bills are getting a lot of turnovers. They're making teams go 3 and out. Maybe they get a first down and they're punting. That's insane. That's not the Bills' fault. One of them were blocked. One of them was blocked. One of those kicks was blocked. So you know what? If you guys want to be homers about this defense, go be homers about it. I want you guys to tell everybody how good this Bills defense is. That if the Bears fans want to pop shit, Dallas fans want to pop shit, Green Bay fans want to pop shit, you know what? You let them know. You let them know where it's at. You let them know what the real deal is, all right? Yeah, the grounding, you mean? How about the one? Oh, my God, I forgot that. The Mariota, the grounding. What the hell was that? Where he just threw the ball up in the air. And it just happened to fly out of bounds. Yeah, dude, Damager. We're putting. Santos is not kicking for the Tennessee Titans next week, Damager. You said it because, man, and we had a block. They blocked one of those kicks. Their idiot punter, their idiot head coach had a guy who missed 2 kicks, had a kick blocked, right? He had him kick another one from like 50 plus yards. What the fuck was he thinking? Oh my God. That guy, Mike, coaches like Mike Vrabel and all these, I froze. No, I didn't. These Patriot genius disciples. I just want no part of these people. I always would get like sick in my mouth if I heard the names like, oh, go hire McDaniels. Josh McDaniels drafted Tim Tebow in the first round. He's no fucking offensive genius. Are you kidding me? What Bills Mafia Rob said, and I'm trying to read it. Buffalo wings are amazing. Just wings. I think they're just wings. They're not buffalo wings, dude. Yeah, he doesn't scare me. Oh, Charlie Weiss, another overhyped dude. Patricia to me is blah. McDaniels has been blah. And Mangini, blah. Bill O'Brien, meh. Just yeah. I think I would have trusted Hauschka. I would have trusted Hauschka. That first time they went for it, I would have tried to get the donut off the board and go for 3. It was a 48-yard kick. Yeah, man, come at a good time. Hopefully this team gets rested up, healed up, and just refocuses and just kind of gets back. I think they have a couple of practices this week, and then they leave Wednesday. They have a long weekend, basically. He's been in the league forever. That's why he's a Bobby Fischer. He's been in the league forever. He's coached Hall of Fame players. He's schemed against the best. He's seen everything. He's got a mind that's like photographic memory. His friend up in the box that went to high school with them is a big part of their success. Ernie Adams. He's on the headset with Bill all the time. He's of the same vein. They think the same. He's always with him. Yeah, I would have trusted him, and I go for it. I don't mind going for it, Snarl. I don't mind going for it. Maybe a Bangor up in there. Instead of a 2-yard. I was more of like you roll Josh Allen out on the bootleg. That was my thinking. Like you roll him out, you give him a run pass option, and I would have been happy with that. Both, man, both. I had the movement. It's a staff. It's collective. They have some good coaches. They have Butler, who's a friend of McDermott's back from high school. He was a secondary coach. That's why Kevin Johnson's here. Babbage is a really good linebacker coach. He coached Lance Briggs, Keith Urlacher, Roosevelt Colvin, some of the guys they had in Chicago all those years. I mean, they have some guys that are just been around. You have Terlink, whose father was John Terlink. You know, John Randall, Henry Thomas, Chris Dolman with the Vikings. He coached some great linemen. So they have a staff of guys, man, that are just real like pros, real pros. And they do, it's a collective thing, man. It really is. Yeah, Damager, you know what I said? I said this. I said Duke Williams. Stop me if I've gotten ahead of myself. Duke Williams is the new Fred Jackson. I don't think after today, his backstory, the way he's gotten on the roster, how everything's come about for him. And I think that's what he is, you know, I think he's the new Fred Jackson. Well, you know, they've been together forever. And they've been in the game forever. So it's kind of what's you know, it's kind of, yeah, he scored, man. And Dallas looks like they're coming back, man. Don't blink too soon. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Old Al Davis mantra. Yeah, that's what the Patriots do. You're not. Yeah, I just think that's what he is. His age, his story. I think he's younger than Fred was. Fred was 27, 26 when he joined the Bills. First full game was against the Redskins. We all know. And had the famous catch on the Sean Taylor play of the game, 10 men. Yeah, I just think after today, yeah, Quentin Spain wanted to play big against his former team. He did a good job today. Deion Dawkins had a nice game today. He didn't have any penalties. He didn't give up a sack. He played a nice game. So I have to give him credit too. So guys, I've been in here hour and 15. I'm gonna shut it down for the evening. I wanted to jump on before the Sunday night. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. We talked about the game. We went over some old Bill shit, new Bill shit, hopeful Bill shit. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Always much love. Thank you. And I love talking to you guys no matter what. But after a win, man, it's like a present. It's like my gift for the week. I'm good. I'm good for the week. I'm taken care of. I'm good for 2 weeks. I'll see you guys soon. Maybe something happens with the roster. Maybe some shit pops off. And we'll talk during the week. Have a great one, guys. Love you all and go Bills. 4-0, motherfuckers. Let them hear it.